Welcome back to HorrorVision, and we're back in time. We're back to the Vault of Horror. You know, I've always thought of something inside the Vault of Horror to be very dangerous. And dangerous, I mean pretty dangerous. Why do you think they have this tape here? It's because it's warning you to stay away. But there are times where I actually looked inside of it because there are security cameras inside the Vault of Horror. Now, they told me not to show you where the cameras are because of safety precautions, but there are cameras inside that people have told me, take a look inside with the cameras. I did, and there's actually some stuff that I think is very interesting, and that's basically the soft stuff, like how they market Halloween. Now, the Vault of Horror can also talk about multiple different things with Halloween here. They can talk about the horror, the non-horror, but also the safety and also the marketing. Which is why we're going to be talking about the marketing. And probably in a next HorrorVision, which is not this HorrorVision, but probably in next year's HorrorVision, or probably sooner or later, I'm not sure, we're going to be talking about the safety parts of HorrorVision. But I want to talk about the marketing, because this is very interesting that I think everybody should very much take notice here. Let's talk about basically costumes. Back 100 years ago, there were no masks that were made out of any type of material that I have right here on the screen here. They weren't made after all this type of material. Hell, I doubt that they even had a strap like this, an elastic band nonetheless. But they did marketing very, very similar to, actually, no, it wasn't marketing, but back 100 years ago, it was nothing more than just, I think, plaster and clay for masks. And you can find that actually way more horrifying than regular masks. So here's a picture for a little bit of a showing. So marketing is, pretty much different now with costumes. They're made out of different types of materials on the masks, which I heavily don't want you to breathe in because they do smell gross and irritate skin. So if you have very sensitive skin, I highly recommend a plastic mask. Nothing close to any type of materials that are on this vampire mask that I just threw. So I'd rather stick to that, or at least stick to another part of the marketing, which is makeup and face paint, including the glow-in-the-dark ones, because that was an interesting thing. Glow-in-the-dark style paint, or at least anything that's glow-in-the-dark, was pretty much one of the biggest highlights of I think Halloween marketing, is because literally you could just turn off the lights, click, and boom, everything is glowing in the dark. I had if you ever, I think you heard of Toxic Nerfer. He's one strange guy who did his type of videos talking about Nerf blasters. He's the guy who actually had a Friday the 13th glow-in-the-dark mask. Back in his time, he actually wore it, I think, once. He didn't quite wear it much often. He gave me this mask right here. This is a rival mask, but I don't play Nerf because I'm Dom's Vlogs. I'm a critic here. But you could see he wrote his name on the sides here. So he kind of gave me an autograph, which was nice. I hadn't seen him yet. I think I heard that the guy's in a deep sleep on October. So I think there's a reason why he's not here doing videos. I hadn't seen last other videos for it. But he definitely kicks ass. But again, masks in general, you can have them glow in the dark. You can have glow in the dark face paint to make it seem like you're pretty much you can make yourself a skeleton. You can make yourself I think glow in the dark Wolfman, maybe a Frankenstein monster, maybe a vampire, maybe Dracula, glow in the dark. That could be something. But yeah, even marketing has come full circle over the years, and even costumes have changed. You can get to goofy style if you don't want horror. You can have the silly, you can have the stupid. You can have multiple different types. But one thing that marketing I think is way important is how you advertise it. when you advertise what you're marketing, it's kind of like it has to catch the eye of the person. So that's how I think it should be performed. For example, the modern type, Six Flags Fright Fest. Last couple of HorrorVisions ago, which was this year's HorrorVision, I went to Six Flags Fright Fest, and it was very creepy. It was very disturbing, and went back to that kind of like style of Halloween where it's creepy, it's disturbing. You're on your knees, like you're literally on your feet, just ready to jog your way out because you got some creepy hag dragging a shovel around. You got things coming out of the ground. You got Houdini's like ghostly haunted mansion. There's a lot, and I actually do enjoy how they kind of like represent it. Like they say it will take you for a ride. They say what your scream is your best friend. And it kind of is. I literally screamed so loud, like I literally ran and just forget about it. But it was a fun area. I really do enjoy it. I highly recommend if your Six Flags has a Fright Fest, go ahead and check it out. It's on the nighttime. I think they ended at midnight, so I'm not sure, but they do end it at midnight. But also with trailers too, that's also a marketing hype for horror. You can have at least somebody put a trailer of like, I don't know, Dracula, Frankenstein, or any of the Universal monsters, and you could basically say, and we'll talk about like on a channel or something. We'll say that we'll pretend that we're doing a Dracula trailer, like Dracula 1931, starring Bela Lugosi, starring on Fox 8/7 Central. Don't forget to check your local listings. I'm not really good at that type of stuff here, but I'm working on it. But yeah, like you can advertise monster movies. You can also advertise a new monster movie that's coming out in like your type of era, because I mean the eras were different back then, so you quite literally don't know which one was the best one, because you're used to the one that you had before, but you forgot the ones that started it was during the time of like, I would say the 30s. The 30s did it better because they had very nice posters. And also back then everything was cheap. Like, it's not like nowadays where everything is like $50 to $40 for like something. Back then everything was very cheap. It wasn't expensive. It was easier to handle. So that's why they put these posters up, so at least people can like spend their money still, but at least they can have a nice time. It's not like today where like people have to save money to at least get enough caution tape, or at least get a Halloween mask or a jack-o'-lantern, or even a pumpkin, to be more precise, if you want to make a jack-o'-lantern out of it. It's just crazy how everything has gone over the years. But even you can market the monsters in different types of like ads for like different types of like products. For instance, in this one Halloween trailer, which I really do think you should take a look at, but it has something to do with Dracula in his coffin. I think he was about to take a nap in there, because it looks like sunrise to sunset. You know how the vampire lore works. But he's in his coffin, and he actually has a solar calculator. So I think either he was counting his money, or he was counting how many people he sucked blood in. I don't know, but the Count himself literally has a solar calculator. And the joke, in my opinion, or at least the kind of like thing is that he never comes out of the sun. So he basically has a solar calculator. So like, I don't know, he doesn't need batteries or something. It's hard for even me to explain because it's a good ad. It's just I can't explain it very well. I think he just lays it on top of a table or something in his castle, and then he just rests. And then by the time it hits dark, he grabs the calculator, and at least he can count again. And it's kind of like almost a reference to the Sesame Street character, the Count. But I'm not going to go too in-depth into that. You can also also in video games like Call of Duty Zombies, but also any other zombies, things like Resident Evil, or I think there was another one called Dead Alive or something. I am Dying Light. I can't even tell. I don't play that many video games. But I do know that marketing a horror game is kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting for me. Like, I think they used to do, like, back in the Atari days. They used to do, like, I think they were like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween on the Atari. They were like the two first Atari games to have movie characters in there. I mean, they sucked, but they were like the first. Then there was also Frankenstein on the Atari. Then there was also Frankenstein, I think, on the NES. And then there was also Castlevania, which I think is basically the best type, because it's kind of like putting the same type of story of Dracula, but in like a new, fresh style. And also with some horror cliches too. Castlevania was pretty much a good hype. I just think nowadays they just make it a little bit too anime. They don't make it feel like it's horror again. It doesn't feel like horror. I still think the music's pretty cool though. I love the Super Castlevania one. This, I think, was Super Castlevania 4. I love that music so much. I have it on my Halloween musics list. So go ahead and check that out on my channel. It's so nice. But Halloween itself has become more of a marketing part, candy and everything. The one kind of new ad that I liked better than any of the other ones were the Geico ads. And also, I think there was a candy called Crunch or Crunchy. I don't know what kind of candy it is, but you know, that blue, it has that blue wrap on there. It's like a chocolate candy. It's so good. But they were like, they were on these shit on the TVs, but they were also on the computers and on YouTube. So we'll talk about the one that's the least, which is on YouTube. The Crunchy bars, or whatever you call those damn things, Crunch bars, whatever. This one has just a couple of, I think, teenagers just holding, you know, a couple of, I think they were holding like bags of this type of candy, and then there's like a slide thing. I don't even know what you call those things, but like, it's like they slide the different types of body parts to like make a different monster, so to speak, or a different type of person wearing a costume of a monster. So in one instance, you have like one person who's a vampire, then the other part you have them as a Frankenstein monster, but they're holding the same candy bar thing, which I think is a really good marketing hype. And also the kind of like music they put in it is nice. It's not as scary. It's kind of like laid back, which I like. I also like the kind of like laughter that you hear, this echo of a laughter, and that puts the Halloween spirit into people. I think that's a really nice job that I think they have possibly done, and it's really good. The next one was the Geico ads, and there was a bunch of them. There was the one with Casper, which I think is the least favorite. I mean, I've never been a big fan of Casper. I just don't know why. I love ghosts and ghost stories, but I just don't like Casper. I just don't know why. If you like Casper, that's fine with me. I have no beef against Casper. I don't think he's terrible. I just think that I think he's just too far into our minds now. Like sure, it's Casper, the friendly ghost. Yeah, it's just not my type. I'm sorry, guys. But there was this one with the witch, which I think is one of the teenage girl's great-great-grandmothers or something. And then she creates, like, she has a bunch of cats, but she also is making this, I don't know what the fuck this is, like some type of magical soup or something. And they did a really good job with this witch. She looks like a hideous hag. It looks so nice. All they're missing is just the green, and then that's it. But yeah, like one of the teenage girls slurps that soup, and she turns into a fucking cat woman. No, not the Batman cat woman, but like an actual cat woman. Like she turned into a werecat or something. And then she says to the witch, needs a little bit more salt. And like the witch is just so annoyed. She's like, a little bit more salt? What the fuck is she talking about? But yeah, I mean, it was a nice ad. And also it was called, I think they put a thing called Geico Ween. Oh my god. Geico Ween. That was such a good one. But yeah, I mean, that's how you can market. Like I'm also going to say is also Party City. Now they don't do this anymore. I don't know why. It could be for like copyright reasons, or even the kind of like other reasons why that I can't even understand. But back then, during my childhood, and pretty much when I grew up, before I became an adult, so to speak, they did the Michael Jackson's Thriller song every October on Party City. They also have like a bunch of like people dressed in costumes dancing to the song. Like, sure, it's other people singing the damn song, but it's still Thriller, and it's a nice one. I even like how they also say that like what type of costume they're wearing. Like, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that, and it's more hype. It just feels right, you know. I think like that's my first time that I ever got introduced with some horror aspects for Halloween, which was Party City. There was also Halloween Town or Halloween City. That was an actual store. It actually does exist, but it's only available on the October months. And the one thing that I think I also want to talk about on how you market it is that I'd rather start in either the beginning of October or the end of September. So not in the middle of September, the beginning of September. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't even happen that way, and it goes by too fast. And people won't have enough time to just grab stuff, you know? Sure, the days go by fast, but at least like people like at least want to get costumes and stuff, because people can have a second thought if they want to have a costume or not. So that's one thing I hate about marketing for most holidays nowadays, is because they started so early. Like, why do you have to start it so early? That shouldn't even be a thing. But they do it, and I don't know why. It's stupid. It shouldn't even exist. But they do it. But again, my parts is end of September, beginning of October. That's the perfect type to get all this Halloween stuff in and get the Halloween cheer on, and everybody is ready to grab all this Halloween stuff and they're ready to have a party. And also to market, I think, is a good job that I think they should literally do. And people of this modern era, if they can get this to happen, take notice. And I want you to take notice here. Universal Monster movies, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Wolfman, like anything Universal Monsters, DVD or Blu-ray. And here's the kicker here. Okay, guys, you ready? In color. You guys are probably telling me in the comments that that is full of shit. But here's the thing. I really think that this is a perfect marketing hype for people. Because not a lot of people, let's think about it. People like color. They like color. They like to see the different types of colors that are on the screen. Like, look at this. This is yellow and black. There's a little bit of light blue. There's like a golden doorknob. There's like a black and blue mask right here. There's a dream catcher with blue and green feathers here. But in black and white, people are like, okay, it's black and white and a little bit of gray. What's so interesting about it? And that's how I think people can get back to these old monster movies. Yes, it brings out the finesse here, but originally most horror movies, especially old classics from like the 50s, were actually introduced in color. March of the Wooden Soldiers was in black and white originally, but they switched it to color, and it actually looks wonderful. It's an old movie, and probably and I still think it's the best childhood movie next to The Wizard of Oz. But in color, I think it looks spectacular. I still like it in black and white, but I also think the color tones really match it pretty well. Imagine Dracula in color. You could see what he looks like in color instead of just looking at the pictures. When you actually see him in color, it looks like really nice. And that's one thing I also want to do to the other monster movies, is that I want to see them in color. Imagine Frankenstein in color. Like, I don't care what color the monster looks. If he's not green, fine. As long as he looks like Frankenstein, I could still count it. The Wolfman, like, imagine that you could see that hair like all brown, you know, all the like the nice claws and stuff. And what about the Mummy? Like, imagine you can look at the Egyptian parts in color here, including the burial scene as well. Imagine you can look at the other characters in color as well, seeing like what color were they back then? Like, because in the pictures and stuff, they put it in color, but they never put it in the movie. So this could be a really nice hype. Not only that, if they put this on Blu-ray or DVD, or even better, they could put this online, like either Fire Stick or at least on Netflix or maybe Amazon Prime, 4K Ultra. Now that's something. An old monster movie from the 30s to the 40s to the 50s in color. Same old stuff, same old characters and stuff, same old actors back then, but in color, 4K Ultra, and now that's how you do it. Because in Gremlins Anniversary, they put it in 4K Ultra, I think on a DVD set, and that is how you market it. That's how you market it. I want to see it. I want to see a young couple, so to speak. Like a young couple that is actually in the 30s. They're watching Dracula. Like, they're just sitting down like this. I'm going to sit down here. Never mind a cracking noise. But imagine that. They're sitting down. They're like this, you know. They see Dracula for the first time, like, on the big screen. Or maybe back home on their television sets. Whoa. Jeez, I probably should stand up. Maybe also in the old drive-in movie theaters back then. Imagine that. But then in a snap of a second, in a white flash... Yeah, I'm going to get up because this is not even a chair. But imagine that. Imagine them now in their old age, you know, or elders, you know. They've grown up, you know, but they have grandkids. Grandkids that are grown up as well into like you know, mature kids or mature teens, and then they watch this classic in color. Imagine how good that can be. Imagine the possibilities. Sure, it could get offended. People from back then are probably not going to like it. I know probably parts of my family are not going to like it, but it's a good marketing hype in my opinion. I think it prefers it. I wouldn't say that it's bad to put it in color. I just think it's a new idea that they can lay on top. Because let's think about it here. Not a lot of people in this modern genre can respect a black and white movie without having a little bit of color. The original Night of the Living Dead in 1968 had color, but it also was in black and white as well. People prefer the black and white version better because it's more horror, it's more creepy looking, but even I still found the 68 version disturbing in color. Especially that trowel scene. I can't even talk about that scene without literally explaining it. I don't even want to explain it. But yeah, that's how I would rather market it. And if I was going to market like the return of a monster movie here, I would do it the right way, the way they did it, but with a little bit of a modern twist behind it. Like, imagine if you could see old school monster movies in 3D. Not like the 3D that was back then, like where it's just a trash heap of a 3D effects, you know. But imagine this, 3D, like an old black and white movie, maybe in color if you want to, on the big screen. That would bring the modern genre back on notice with something this horrifying. Sure, there is a slow pace in some of these movies, but there's still the creepy atmosphere that puts you on edge. And also, it's entertaining too. Some of these actors came out of the silent era, so it's an over the top, but it's really nice to just listen to them, you know? Just imagine these movies on the big screen, back in color, 4K Ultra, and you could just see how clear everything is now. It would be a good marketing hype in my opinion, and I think a lot of people should take notice on this. Sure, it's hard. You have to get the patents from these types of companies, including the ones that were very low budget back then. But again, color, 4K Ultra, DVD and Blu-ray, movie theaters, Fire Stick, or Amazon Prime. It will be something to enjoy. It'll be something to enjoy. It'll be something nice. It'll bring in the cash for you guys. If it will make money. I know that. You just can't delete scenes. That's one thing I think people should at least take notice. Do not delete the scenes. unless the movie is like, unless the movie's like too long, but people still want to see a long movie even though it's that long. That's part of the whole thing. You want to see this movie because it's so rare, you know? Imagine that. I'm just saying it so many times. Imagine it. You can imagine the possibilities and the marketing hype that you could put for this type of demographic. The new modern demographic will love it so much because it's color, but it's also still the old school type that they originally did back then. But it's color, so at least it can bring them in. And then also even some, I'm not saying a lot, but some of the older people that used to love these movies in black and white finally can see this in color for the very first time. And you have to at least get it right. You have to get at least some of the color parts right, and it can't look silly, Some people have to at least get these color parts right, or else it's just going to look ridiculous. They have to at least make it brand new. And that's what I think that people should do with this type of marketing hype, and make it very nice for October. So this episode is going to be called Halloween Marketing. So I hope you guys enjoyed at least a little bit of that. I probably will do a part 2, but I don't think I'll be doing it on this HorrorVision. We'll do it probably next year's HorrorVision, if possible. But as always, guys, I know I always say this before. I don't think I say it ever again, but stay scary, and I'll see you next time on HorrorVision, where we're going to be taking a look at a man that has a hockey mask, a machete, and is the creature of Crystal Lake.